live and a live. That's always a positive.
My sound good, Mick?
All right. Let me let this thing pop up on my phone. There we are. I'm only gonna. You doing any shares, Mickey? All right. In that case, I'll let you share so we don't double up. Let's pop one of these. See if we can make this headache go away. Dude, this hair quality is killing me.
Huh? Hello, yo.
Yeah, this hair quality is killing me lately.
I haven't seen any. Seemed like most of the smoke is gone though.
Yeah.
But at least the sun is peeking out today.
Yeah. Yesterday it was.
Yeah, it was real bad.
It was red. I was able to stare at the sun without my sunglasses, not hurt my eyes. I'm like, oh, I see a sunspot. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's wreaking havoc on my little dome. Oh. Yeah, we got 5 humans.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So
well, we do have 5 people watching.
Yeah, they'll tune in.
What's up, everybody?
Good morning. I'm low on Red Bull. So,
where are we going?
We spoke last night, and you said you wanted to talk a bit about the recalls.
Yep, we can do that. The recall. So, currently, there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, I think fourth ward went through this morning.
Yep, Eric. Well, let's not say that. Councilman Mays, Councilwoman Priestley, Councilwoman Lewis, and Councilwoman
Worthing.
Worthing, yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a couple of phone calls. People seem to think I know something about it, and I had no idea. I woke up like everyone else, like, oh, I looked at my phone, like, oh,
yeah.
oh. So no, I had no knowledge of the recall. I had nothing to do with it. I knew that people were speaking about it.
Let me say that. I mean, that was pretty public knowledge.
Right. I knew that people were speaking about it, but I had no, there was nothing that Michael Clack knew. I didn't have any inside scoop or who was doing what or anything like that. So just to clear the record up for everybody that didn't know.
Yeah,
thought that I knew something.
A phone call yesterday, which is weird in of itself. I went to bed at 5. Wife wakes me up at 6:30 to let the dogs out, or let the dogs in because the door's stuck. And I'm sitting there and I get a call. I'm like, who hates me enough to call me this early in the morning? And it turned out to be someone talking about the recalls who was actually at the hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And, that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, oh, so that happened. Okay. Why this early was the first thing I said.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Bro, I wanted to go back to sleep, but that kept me up throughout the day. And the question is, these recalls, you get the signatures, and it goes into a recall election type deal, right? If these people are voted out, any of them, going from 1st to 9th, who are they going to be replaced with, and how would that help Flint?
That's one of the things that I was thinking about with when we do the recall. Like, right, that's to me. Well, not to me. That's just step one, right? We got the person recalled, but that seat is vacant and it needs to be filled by somebody. So there should be someone that we should know that's got an idea, or somebody should be saying something that they want.
Yeah, like, all right, I have a problem with council person X, Y, or Z. Here's my problem. Here's how I intend to fix it. But we haven't really seen anyone step up either.
No, it was just, except for, someone said that I was, seeking the 7th ward.
The 7th ward is completely different, though, because that doesn't go into the recall. She just resigned.
Right.
So there's going to be probably an appointee until a special election. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think that one's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, sir.
How do y'all feel about the mayor calling a meeting, a Mike
If I'm not, go ahead, Trevor.
So that is tantamount to like El Presidente Biden going or coming here because one of our senators is retiring, right? And talking about the process there. That is a completely different branch of government. Keep your ass out of it.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I'm already starting on the cussing, but no, keep out of it. Let's let council matters be council things and involve the populace rather than the executive branch stepping in here.
That's the whole separate powers and the check and balance and
Yeah,
all like that.
like
You know.
because even if what he's saying is right and factually right, as what he likes to do, in my opinion, he likes to half truth
Mm-hmm.
things that can be fact checked, such as over 90% of the pipes are done. That is true, but how much work have you done on it? Type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it can sway how people would react or vote or do this or do that in a way that it's kind of manipulative, in my opinion, like extremely manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he should just keep himself at City Hall, do whatever he's doing as mayor, and let council do council.
Is that who would that whose responsibility would it be? Would that be the city clerk or the county clerk?
That would be the clerk.
The city clerk to inform the people how
How
the
the
seventh
entire
ward.
process.
Yeah, well, that should be what's the new clerk's name? I forget her name. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, see, that would
Miss Navina work.
yeah, yeah, Miss Davina. It would be her responsibility to come to the seventh ward, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And
or
inform
at
the
least push out literature that
literature, right?
explains it. I mean,
Right.
we live in an information age. It shouldn't be too hard for her to go through charter, find the precedent, put it out there, say on Facebook, or if people have their emails registered, send it out to them, and then a brief explanation in layman's terms.
Right, right, right,
That's
right.
one thing I always hated about government. Whenever you look at a law, it subsection X, Y, Z, and this party, that part. How about you just break it down for me in simple person speak? Because
Exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah. And it's and we do live in Flint, and there's a big population that does not read at a a very high grade level. So it turns a lot of people off when you start coming with this political jargon, or when you start talking about laws and you give the exact law when you mention the what is it, the MCL or whatever it starts off with. So people don't know that. They know they know click it or ticket.
Yep.
They know stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's not like if you just start talking about MCL 203-115 and ordinance whatever, it's like what?
So yeah, like periodically I go through the laws on here and I will give the exact law and its wording, and then I break it down because that's how I had to understand it. I had to sit there and read it for a minute, basically teaching myself the new language of legalese. So we it would be nice to see Miss Davina just push that out via Facebook or whatever. Here's the exact wording. Here's what this is according to legality in simplest terms, how this affects you and how you will participate if you choose so. Type deal. You know what I mean?
Right. No. So I do feel that it's not the responsibility of whoever the mayor is. This one, the next one, Dr. Weaver, the previous one. It's not their responsibility. It's not in their job description to go and inform a certain ward, how they should choose or how the process works or how whatever the section, whatever the meeting is about.
I mean, as mayor of a city as we'll say, what's the word? Disjointed as Flint. You've got other things to worry about. There's a lot of work to get done here.
You should be worrying about mayoring.
Exactly.
The mayor should mayor. Like not. Informing is one part of being a mayor and being transparent, but that's not what we look for him for. When there's so many other things that are going on that we look to him for, and he was either not there, misinformation, wrong information, covering up information, or however the situation may be. That's not it. But then again, this is the same mayor that used the emergency hotline for the Easter egg hunt, though, right?
Oh man, that was a hot Easter egg.
You know, so he might need a little bit of. He's been in it. He's been in government for a while.
Yeah. So what? 2 terms state rep. I think
multiple terms as city council.
City council. Yeah, he should know the lane, right?
Let me ask you this while we're on it. 2 terms as state rep that's
4 years.
4 years, right? Mm-hmm. Multiple terms as city council. Mm-hmm. How many is multiple? 3 or 4 terms? Anybody know? I don't want to be wrong.
He hit up 3 when he went on to the KWA board and then proceeded to go on. Something like that. 5-year term. So like, yeah. No, 4 years.
They're 5, right? Or did they just got?
But either way, over a decade at very least.
Well, see, my point was, I looked at that live from John Cole, and he said that he had been watching Mayor Neely since he was 22. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that gentleman,
I think he's in his 50s,
in 56 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would have been 34 years ago.
Yeah.
Was Sheldon on?
He wasn't in government
34 years ago.
He wasn't in government 34 years ago. He was apparently some sort of community organizer, and they met in a church.
Yeah, but this guy said that he watched him since he was on city. Did you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's not an incidental acquaintance.
Yeah, well, I guess he really don't know him. Then Sheldon said he don't know who he is. So,
I mean, yeah.
My point is when you start trying to make somebody look so good that you don't even do your research or do your homework on the timeline in which you like, just come on now.
Yeah, like that's one of those. You could have handled that one better.
Of course,
boss.
Yeah. You didn't even have to give a timeline. You could have just said, "I've been watching for, X amount of not." Well, that's a timeline. I've been watching since he was on city council. I've been watching since he's,
Mm-hmm.
But, some people like the fact check.
Yeah, that's in Flint. That usually falls to us.
Yeah,
and that's pretty unfortunate. I mean, unless you've got a blue check next to your name on Twitter, no one really cares.
And I don't even have Twitter.
I signed up for it last night, actually. I'm not giving out the handle at all. I was just looking up great anime sites that people were posting, like, oh, cool, I can get off Crunchyroll for 10 minutes.
Mr. Kill said maybe his math isn't mathing. That's right. His math isn't mathing. Right. Just like he ain't marrying.
2 + 2 is definitely not 5, my friend.
No, it's not 36 either.
So, yeah, like, things are getting crazy around here.
Well, what I will say is I always like to give props when they're due. I just left a team of the workers, WT Stevens workers, up on Wolcott, maybe over in your area, Wolcott. Yep. And they work for WT Stevens, and they were working. It was a team of 3. But what they did say was they do most of their work out of Detroit. Mm-hmm. They said that Detroit, they're changing Detroit's pipes. So you
got to go where the money is, right? So here, last I checked, and it may have changed it. It was a small company. I think it was like a dude and his son who got the contract, and then they subcontracted to WT Stevens. Subcontracts come with a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of work that feasibly a 3-man or 2-man company can pick up, even with subcontractors, is going to be a lot less. So,
hold on, not to cut you off. Who's Philip Lee?
Oh, he's a longtime viewer.
Yeah, I know. I see him on here. He said Shelly. He called Sheldon Shelly.
I like the his meth may not be mething, but let's not go there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Phil.
Phil Neely.
He's a decent dude. But yeah, so of course WT Stevens is going to be shifting more of their personnel down to Detroit, where the company can make more money and they can make ends meet, especially because there's a check, as far as I know, that still hasn't been paid to them from here.
The $1 million check?
Yeah. I mean,
why don't they just sue?
I mean, there's contractual obligations that usually say within X period the city has to pay you. It's never done on complete or pay on completion. There's a period of time that usually government gives itself in case of financial crisis. So
Okay.
3 to 5 years sometimes. Sometimes it's pay for half up front. I've dealt with government contracts, especially city and school, when I was working pest control with my dad. The only place we ever did contracts for was for the school system in Douglas, Arizona. We didn't want anyone else to be locked in with us, but the schools being government, they had to.
Right. Okay.
So we dealt with that, and there were times where they would pay upfront for the entire year, or there was times where we wouldn't get paid for over 2 years, but it still came through and is part of the contract.
Okay.
So, that may be the deal with WT. However, with as bad as Flint is with keeping with its deadlines, they may be in the ballpark to sue very soon.
They just missed some deadlines with the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
they're about to miss another one.
Yeah, about to say something else too, right?
Contempt of court.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but I think that we as a school board are doing better when it comes to being civil towards each other. Now, that doesn't say that we all
that you're all civil all the time,
and we don't always get along, because we don't. But you can't ask or expect for the residents, a good population of those residents being children, to act civil, and we as being leaders are not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or we being leaders are not leading in an honest way. Then you got to expect for people to be out in the middle of the street selling dope, or doing whatever they do, because it's like, shit, they don't care. Why should I?
How city council reflects on us. We've got fights and arguments. We got people rubbing their heads together, screaming at each other. We've got people standing up and towering over others, threatening violence. How's the city supposed to take that?
Yeah.
We take that in the exact same way you just said. If they don't care, I don't care.
What job would you be able to work at when you come in, arguing with people every day, trying to tell on somebody every day?
Mm-hmm. Trying to get somebody kicked out of their job
work.
every day.
Trying to get them kicked out trying to get them fired every day. Or you don't come when you come when you feel like it. Or what else goes on? It's just, what job would you be able to keep? What if you were a teacher and you come in and you say, hey, you know what, it's Thursday, I ain't going. It ain't gonna be too many Thursdays that they're gonna allow you to do. Or what if you work at the corner store? You know what I mean? Or Rite Aid or the Dollar General, and you say, hey, look, man, it's Thursday, I don't even feel like going to my shift today, and you just don't show.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And that, it shows here, right? Because you see that happen a lot, and people are recycled through jobs at random places throughout the city of Flint, because our own culture doesn't respect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts at the top and trickles on down. And you can see it still in city hall, not city council per se, except for the absenteeism.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't get fired, or they don't resign because they don't feel like it anymore.
Or
except for one.
Yeah.
But our CFO, our ombudsman, and the list goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
The city of interim, as it were. Is that not reflective of everything else going on? I mean, it happens at City Hall. Well, if City Hall don't care, if I don't have a role model my age or maybe a little bit older that's showing interest in the community and their job, why am I going to show interest in mine?
Right.
And sometimes it's a subconscious thing. It isn't like, oh, well, city council don't care, so I don't. It's you see that energy and you kind of like, man, I just don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
That. So maybe the recalls, we can get some people in who show up to every meeting, who can act civilly toward each other. And this goes for 1 through 9, not singling anyone out here. Right? Like, let's be fair. I do have my preferences on city council, but no one's going to get special treatment.
Yeah.
I would like to see city council be more civil toward each other and say, Mr. Councilman from X ward, I may not agree with you, and this is why. Please do not take offense to it, and don't put yourself in a position or tone to be giving out offense.
Right.
Just civil. That's all I ask for. I'm not a very complicated man. I don't ask for a whole lot. Just please be civil with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the thing is I don't want to put all the negative energy on the Flint City Council, because if you watch, it's happening all around the country.
Mm-hmm.
School boards all around the country are way worse than ours. You know
what I mean? God.
I've watched school board meetings and people have, blatantly called people N-words in school board meetings, and it's like, that has no place.
That has no place in society, period.
Right. But some of the stuff that, some school board members, I'm not going to say, well, some school board members hold important has nothing. There would benefit not one student, not one.
None.
They all benefit adults. And that's the point that I'm trying to make or trying to get past, because most of the stuff that we deal with, us personally, affects adults more than it does the students. The trickle down ain't trickling. Yeah. We did it. Trickle ain't trickling. But I just had to put that out there. But we were talking about recalls. And I do want to address this too, because I keep getting, wow, why doesn't Sheldon have a recall yet? Why did there a recall? He can't have a recall. He can't.
Yeah, you have to be in office for about a year. Yeah,
right.
A year.
So come November, come November, right?
Yeah,
December.
Well,
November. Come November, then there should be some.
Actually, no, it'd be anniversary of the date of swearing in.
No, he got sworn in January, right?
There you go.
Like January.
Really? Usually they go off of the date of swearing in. They give you a whole year. Oh, you see, then I have to get off of here. I'll believe you.
It might be at the end of the day. I think so.
Oh, there's Art saying November. Yeah, Art knows November. This sort of thing. Yeah, He's done it once or twice.
Yeah, he knows. So yeah, November. So maybe come November, come football season, somebody gonna get pumped past and kicked up out of here.
Here's the thing. I want to see before November people popping up, addressing said issues wrong with the mayor's office, and then explain their solutions to what's wrong in the mayor's office. Don't just pop up after the recall came through and say, I can do this now. No, talk about it early.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you're not Sheldon Neely. Cool. You might be a clone of him in personality, and I don't know. Let me know who you are ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because if I have no confidence in you, I may just not vote. I'm not voting for the old guy, and if I don't know the new guy, I'm not voting.
Of course. Yeah. No, whoever the new guys are, or the new
people, new lady, yeah,
the new people. Let me take that back and be correct. But whoever the new people are, or the people that want to be are showing interest or would like to be interested, or however the situation may be, we need to know who you are.
Yeah,
we need to know this person is seeking an appointment, or this person is seeking the 8th ward, 9th ward, 6th ward, whatever ward. We need to see, we need to hear.
Yeah, right. Like I did see with the recall that failed on the 4th ward, Adam popping up and saying he would like to.
Ford.
He's
the one that did the recall, right?
Yeah.
They got it wrong.
Yep.
But he runs for something every time.
Yep. And honestly, I don't live there, so not a dog in this race for me, right? Like there's no ballot casting. Adam could do a lot better with his PR and his image, for one. Yeah. And for two, some of the stuff he was going on about doesn't really happen at city council. Granted, there's a lot that needs to be fixed there. Some of the things he was going on about are national level issues, like, bro.
Yeah, but it's not just him.
No.
There's a lot of people, even people that were, well, he was a candidate, but candidates, I don't want to say names, but I'm thinking of one in particular that was running for state rep, but continuously kept bringing up city council, issues. And it's like,
That's not your lane,
It's
bro.
not your lane, but you're actively running for this.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also actively making complaints and gripes about things that you have no, even if you do win, you would have no control over.
No.
You would still have to politic with these people in order to get.
The office can put pressure, but you are not over them. You are
Right.
not in charge of them. This is completely separate.
Right.
This is like Red Bull trying to tell a watermelon company what to do, you know?
No.
I have to say yes. Look, if you actually
I mean,
care
my
about your
bad.
community,
Yes, there are people. You said, are there people in? Yeah. Are there that are? You just said like you had a person that's running for state rep, but he worried about city council. Now, would you want that person to be your state rep? But you're not worried about state rep, but you worried about the council.
so here's my thing about it, right? In my mind, absolutely everyone, period, in the story right there, is qualified to run in politics.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you give a damn about your community, and yeah, you may be keeping your eye on another seat, on another, a branch of government. As long as you fall into step and you learn your lane, there's room. If you don't, then you get voted out. But everyone, as long as you care enough, should run.
I say I don't say should.
Okay, not should, but
I say have the
can.
right to.
Yeah.
It's your right to do so. I've never been one to, and I might piss somebody off with this, but I've never been one to say, hey, yeah, we want to put all of our resources behind one person.
Mm-hmm.
But that other person or those other people that want to run, they still got the right to run. I wouldn't tell nobody, hey man, you need to jump out of this race. That's not
right.
That's not right. My thing is, if you're a better candidate, show it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have better policy, proposals or whatever, show it. Beat me in a race. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that you should have to say, hey, look, you drop out of this race so we can do this. No, let's everybody, it's everybody. Now, does that make things more complicated? Of course it does, because the more
like a crowded primary can cause split votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, a crowded primary can also generate a lot of interest
Mm-hmm.
and get one of those candidates you like in.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's watching Party C
mm-hmm.
because they have so many candidates and they want to see who's thinking differently from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's watching now. All right, primary's done. All that interest is just filtered into one person. Mm-hmm. And then it's a block vote that has more than if you just had one guy running or one person running in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because now everyone's invested and interested. Wait. Yeah.
Do you think recalls are good? Yes.
Yeah. It's accountability. Since day one that I've been here, we've been about accountability of our government. Mm-hmm. And if you don't feel that your government is adequately representing you mm-hmm. or the interest of your area, then you got to hold them accountable.
Of course.
And the best way for a populace to do that is with a recall.
I know for a fact that if I heard that somebody was interested in recalling me, you know what I mean? Like, even if I had done nothing wrong, I still would be like trying to straighten up. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, man, I heard you about to get recalled. Like, that to me, that's like, I ain't doing something right. That means. I see, that's the point I want to ask y'all, because I'll be on the internet, so I'll be looking at the people that
you are the internet.
So I was getting the feedback. It's like, never once did I seen that the people who get recalled, they never once say what you just said. Like, did I do something wrong? It's like, and you got to prove it. Yeah,
it's either that or that incredulousness of they just don't like me. Well, there might be a reason that you're not liked.
I just think that
right
when this is just me, and I'm still new at being an elected official, but once you jump into this arena, you have a responsibility to have an ear to the community. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you also have a responsibility to act when it's, on issues that need to be acted on. Mm-hmm. I can't for the life of me understand why our city council, made up of primarily, I mean, it's pretty diverse, but there are more blacks on the city council. Am I right? they would not help the House of Esther people for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot, for the life of me, understand. I got a better one for you. Why ain't no money went to the north of Flint, to the north of the Flint River? Yeah. Nah, like you said,
that's a third of the council right there.
And second ward is on the north side, third ward is on the north side. And you mean to tell me you could never get second and third to get no money to go north of the Flint River? Right. Well, the one thing about both of those wards is they both got beautiful parks. Like, like the parks, I went over to the third ward, Martin Park. I rode past there the other day. Man, it ain't a newspaper on the ground. It ain't a 2 liter on the ground. Like everything is clean. I was kind of being facetious when I was saying that, but you know what I mean. But the point is, how a program just like and I only said House of Esther because I was thinking about that one.
Yeah.
But this is a program that to house young mothers, which we got a lot of them here, and we couldn't even get that done. Yeah. I just left Saginaw this morning. I've been in Saginaw shooting a commercial for somebody.
Pictures. The second you said shooting, like some people.
Yes. Oh no, not
to the range.
Yeah, no. But Saginaw City Council has pretty much spent their ESSER funds or allocated their ARPA funds. The school district has pretty much allocated their ESSER funds. They're getting a new school. Mm-hmm. They're combining the Saginaw High and Saginaw Arthur Hill to become Saginaw United. Mm-hmm. What do we have? A brand new kiddie jail. They didn't drag their feet on that.
We got a beautiful Miller Road.
No, we don't. It's got cones and everything up and down the street. Oh yeah,
it's getting another facelift.
Yeah,
I think that's about it. We tried giving bonuses to our police officers, and then
did they get them yet? Do you think they deserve it?
Look, yeah. And that's coming from a guy who just had a shooting on his block, right? Here's the biggest deal about our cops around here. We don't have enough of them.
But this is the thing I want to ask. Have you seen the BS that's going on? Now, we've seen the lawsuits coming up out of there. You talking about with the chief? Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they weren't catching that bonus.
But still, do you think we need new leadership? We didn't heard about police harassing people getting pulled over. I've never heard of Flint police doing that. I could be dead wrong. I ain't been listening to the right people. But I mean, this is not me. This is just what I've heard out here. Even when people cars getting broken in, taking 2 hours to get here. So I'm gonna give you a bonus. For what?
That bonus was a hiring and retention bonus. You come on, you stay for X amount of time, you get this bonus, just the same way as the Army, right? I joined, here's 10 grand up front, and then for each year, you're still with this contract.
Why are they having a higher problem? Never asked it.
Because
for the root of the problem.
They're overworked and overpaid. And by overworked, I mean Flint has a normal amount of issues for a city its size, right? Per capita. But we don't have enough officers to maintain that. So there becomes a priority list. Officers respond first to violent crimes, then they respond to
I want to object,
injuries and such. Yeah.
Point of order. No. I was at a barbecue. We was at a cookout. Mm-hmm. Was this Father's Day? Father's Day just passed. It was on Father's Day.
Yeah, you were telling me about this one.
And a neighbor called the police, and all 6 that were on duty showed up to a barbecue, to a cookout. So that
what did the neighbor happen to say, though?
You're right,
because I know you don't hang around those places where there's going to be problems anymore.
You might catch me,
anymore
out in the community somewhere.
But like if it's known that people are going to be rowdy or get crazy, upset, like you might see him there, but for the most part,
for the most part, I got friends in all different genres.
Yeah,
and they won't invite me if there's going to be something like that, just because of the respect for you know, who I
what
am.
you do,
Yeah, and
what
what
you're
I do.
trying to
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So who knows what that neighbor said? Now, so when issue happened on my block,
How many
kids,
showed up?
all 5 cars,
Okay.
or 5 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't show up until we called and saying shots fired.
Well,
So kids fighting, drinking, whatever. There were domestic disputes happening all over town.
Mm-hmm.
There were other parts of town where other types of violence was happening. They had to go respond to that. So kids getting drunk, okay, you're going to have a hangover tomorrow. Kids getting shot have to be there now.
I was at Rube's picking up my chicken on Saturday. There was some person that was dancing on the roof of a car.
Mm-hmm.
They just happened to ride past the police while she was on the roof of the car. They parked directly next to my car. I walk out with my chicken ready to leave. I can't leave because every cop in Flint, sheriff, Flint, I mean, like it had to have been 20 cars there. Nobody was shooting. There was a girl twerking on the roof. There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah, you and I've seen people,
and they don't even lift a finger. Now I don't want to sound like I'm bashing the police, but because we need the police. But this is we telling the truth. Right is right, wrong is wrong, real is real. You know what I mean? Like it's the truth.
I guess it's only that night shift supervisor that I was talking to, how he has his stuff set up. Because other supervisors may just say, screw it, I'm not going to that side of town. But hey, there's an issue in the 8th Ward where a kitten got lost, so we got to send all cops. You know, other supervisor.
It's how they police one side to how they don't police the other side. And what I mean, and don't get it twisted, because it was just on, I forgot who was putting on Facebook when the state boy was just pulling people over. Like I see the little
yesterday.
Yeah, I see the new little move when they saying it's tomorrow about the Sam phones in your hand. Who policing the police? Because I done roll by them and they be on their cell phone when they drive.
Mm-hmm.
So is this just a new way to tax them?
Or even they for one had, I know y'all have seen it when they'll come up to a light, they don't want to stop, so they'll put the siren on and go through the light.
Yep.
Or even when they're just riding around through regular traffic, they're going so fast. You know what I mean? Like they don't do the speed limit. I don't know if they have to, but like. Yeah.
When this new thing finna come down, you asking them. To me, it's like it's another way they finna tax the poor people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But here's now.
Flint cops don't pull you over for speeding or for cutting you off in traffic or for red lights. And
watch them tickets finna go up for these cell phones. Watch
I've been used to that for years because, like I told y'all before, I lived in Virginia, so it's been illegal to talk on your cell phone in Virginia. For you can't if they catch you talking on your cell phone while you pumping gas. I want to say that's a low class felony. Like you cannot talk on your phone pumping gas.
That's that old wives' tale of your phone can create static and
yeah,
blow
the waves
things
or what?
like,
yeah,
like some things just need to be removed from the books.
Yeah,
that's been proven wrong.
But they will enforce that though. Mm-hmm. I've been pulled over standing there pumping my gas on the phone. Like this was years ago, but that's how I found out because I was standing at a gas station on the phone pumping my gas, not paying any attention. But here's another thing: stupid people smoking at the gas station. That's something that they don't enforce too. Because I've cussed a couple of people out. Like, man, what? If you want to blow yourself up, wait till I leave. You know what I mean? Like that's gas fumes, lit cigarette equals boom.
It depends if they're lighting or not.
You know, yeah, of course, but not fumes. But
so the ember of a cigarette actually doesn't reach hot enough to ignite the embers. Now, when you light that
in the movies, it do.
In the movies, it does. In the movies, you can shoot a gas tank of a car and it explodes.
Well, yeah, you're right.
In the movies, if a car falls off a cliff, it explodes.
That don't happen in real life?
No. It crumples and turns everything inside and, well, looks like that submersible. I'm sorry. Look, if you're going to pay a quarter
the
of
propane can in the
if you're going to pay $250,000 to be, I'm sorry, there's going to be jokes.
Yeah.
I nope. I don't. Nope. I'm
So
gonna get myself into trouble.
yeah, I don't want to talk about them, man. I think we kind of got off the
Oh, we've
recalls.
been off the rails for a minute.
Yeah, off the
So,
recalls.
but the thing is, there's not really much for us to discuss on these recalls because we don't know
Who?
who wants to take that seat and if they will be better, the same, or worse. I mean,
Like it got worse when they replaced the last council.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Let me tell you something.
You know who I do not want to see in that seventh ward? Go ahead. My bad.
This is what I'm saying. What I've seen, Maurice Davis compared to her, much as he flip flopped and went to the Trump thing. Toward the end, when he seen where he messed up, Maurice Davis
He tried to correct it.
get it back.
He was
He was trying to. But he seen it too late. But as you seen it, like, he seen it too late.
Mm-hmm.
But for Liddell to get in, because there's no way. The reason I say that because there's no way no people basements would have been flooded in the seventh ward, and he wouldn't have voted to help them disinfect.
yeah,
And that Quincy Murphy.
I mean, but we're taking a risk here, and that's how indicative of how jacked up city council is, right? Because Eva could be taken out, Eva could be replaced, and then we get super Karen. That is a possibility, right? Like that's why just a moment ago you and I saying, stand up, let us know who you are if you're gonna try to take these seats. There could be 7 or 8 people per seat. I want to know who each one is. That way we don't get Worthing squared.
You gotta look at a person's track record. Look, Liddell stepped up, said she was gonna do this and that. But Quincy told the truth when he said he was gonna do to help the mayor look good. So you gotta believe what a person tells you. Yeah. Most definitely. I agree with that because I'm trying to tell you. Look at Ali Hokenroder. Ali just resigned, and I remember Dennis Pfeiffer telling me this about Ali.
Watch out for her.
Watch out, and look what she did. Just think about it.
Why did she resign?
She claimed.
I'm not under. I know what she claimed.
She claimed, but I'm saying, but look at the game that she played. But she working for the state. Remember, she said her boyfriend was a police officer.
I'd never heard
access to a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And you was talking about doing something yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who is telling her what playbook to do this because the state should be looking at that too now.
Yeah. Honestly, if you want to know my honest opinion on it, Mr. Clack, she resigned from that seat because she is taking too much heat and she has higher political aspirations. So she's deciding to give herself a cooling off period where she's not in the limelight no more, and then she runs for another seat.
Okay, well, here's my thing. People aren't dumb. People have memories, and if you can't handle this, then why would you want to move up or around? Like, I mean, personally,
because honestly, she doesn't. I don't think she's experiencing these problems. I think what she's really trying to do is let things cool down, let other people take that spotlight for a little while. So everything that people dislike about her now seems kind of shaded, fogged by memory.
right? But newspaper articles still run.
Mm-hmm.
You can still look them up. You can still Google whatever. I mean, and
It's the information age,
sure. Right? So,
but this is an old political play, and I don't think political plays have really caught up with the information age.
Here, it don't.
Yeah.
Other places,
it's
yeah. It's here where you get our news is so biased here. That's why we laugh when they say we got the news is so biased here.
Crime is down.
Yeah, because you're not gonna hear none of them say about she lied. That's what I'm saying. She tried to get.
Eric got a charge. He got a.
She tried to get him locked up. That's what I'm saying. This the game. All 6 of them was.
How come she didn't get charged with
court
and perjury?
Perjury.
Because Eric now has a misdemeanor for that. Right, but
that's what I'm saying. But with her even lying, that should have got through out.
Yeah.
But in Flint, only where you can lie and keep going.
I mean, even when there's video evidence.
Yeah, with her lying. And that's what I'm saying. That she was trying to put with dignity. I think she knew she was going. This recall was going to go through. She didn't want no problem. She calling herself trying to ease out. Cause like you said, if you go look at any of them who voted for this mayor budget or anything this mayor pushed through, are complicit to straight up thievery.
I mean, how much is this budget projected to be upside down right now? We were 15 mil last year, 15 mil this year. That's 2 years in a row, accumulating to, with the odds and ends, probably about 31 mil. And they may have tried to pass a law saying no emergency manager in Flint anymore. The state can come in and say, for the good of state, because we're having to cover your deficits, you're getting an emergency manager. We're fixing your finances. Maybe she doesn't want her name attached to that. A failed governance?
Yeah.
She helped create it, but she's not in the office anymore. So that's just going to fall onto the next person. Whoever's name is there.
What I'm looking at Abby gonna diss them. Watch what I tell you. Watch how she say this was Flint had a dysfunctional council. She had to get away. She's not gonna include herself in helping pass 2 unbalanced budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Not 1 but 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ask no questions on them. They didn't get the 6 that passed. The ungrateful 6 to be doing that. They pushed this mayor agenda all the way through and knew it hurted the people. But that's why I was asking the question. Do y'all think when you say everybody can, because I don't look at it everybody can run, because what if we get some more people like this in?
I mean,
well,
this is what happens when you get people who in for their selfish people, because that's what I feel like.
I mean, how are you going to vet them? That's the thing. Like, are you just going to throw a test out whenever someone registers for?
All you got to do, like somebody said, just watch how they vote. If this ain't it ain't a test thing. Just watch what they do. Liddell test was people in the second ward. Feces in their basement flooded.
Kevin say put the microphone up.
Well, he needs to plug it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like, no, you're right. But to see how they vote, they have to get into that office first. What? 2 years now? 2020? Oh,
it don't take long. It does not take long to see once they start timing the vote. It don't take long to see, what direction they, or to make question about, hey, you doing this for the right reasons? You know what I mean? Like when you start talking about stuff, or matter of fact, maybe not just the voting, the discussion before the vote is when you can kind of see, wait a minute now.
Why aren't you asking any questions? Yeah, Why aren't you giving your point of view? Why aren't you trying to clarify this thing that looks a little hazy here that could be used, almost weaponized against the people of Flint?
Right. Or why are you bringing up this BS when we got this? You know what I'm saying? We're trying to talk about apples and oranges, and you talking about Chevys and, you know what I'm saying, Chevys and Fords.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, how did that just? This stuff like that just blows me, because it's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are that you could just have the gall to just go and spend money that doesn't belong to you? Now, true enough, that's what a thief is, and some people just walk into that lifestyle. But who do you think you are? That's what's wrong with this. With it, like the oversight here sucks.
Yeah,
that's why. I just want to put this out there. That's why I got so upset when I decided when you called me and said, "Hey, man, you need to look at this audit. Mm-hmm. You need to check this audit out." And it's 1 + 1 = 197 on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that math wasn't mathing.
It was, the math was not mathing, and it's like, who do you people think that you are to try to put stuff over like this on the citizens that don't know?
Why do you think I've been saying forever, taxation is theft? Because the money that they take from me involuntarily, literally with the threat of violence, is not going to benefit the community around me. If I were seeing my money literally just going to, in previous years, improving our schools so our kids don't fall out, or improving our roads so we don't wreck our cars, or, I don't know, helping bring businesses in to increase the economic situation here, make it better. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be so upset. But instead, we've got some person with a city credit card taking herself on a vacation, staycation, whatever. That's stealing from me.
Mm-hmm. But those are also the same people that look that thumb their nose, at people that can't afford to live this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're the same people that look and say, "Well, I got my education. You should go get yours." You know what I mean? Those are the same people that say, "I got my Escalade. It's not my fault you driving around in a." You know what I'm saying?
It's not my fault. I have homes in two separate states. Maybe you should.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I wasn't even thinking along
I know,
those
but that's
lines.
what
But
it
that's the
came to
same.
me.
It's the same lines. You can't put people down when you aren't all the way 100% right.
Mhm.
If you earned it, if you got it out the mud, how they say in the streets, if you got it, then that's cool. But if you are stealing while people are still in the mud, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
and you acting like you came from nothing, now you something, and you stealing, like that's you should get in more trouble than, you know what I mean? Like you should
be held to a higher standard.
Hell yeah, you should.
If you're elected, that means you were put there by trust. If you betray that trust, there should be a separate charge. A little bit of extra time.
Just look what I did. Not to cut y'all off. What the man put up. You was watching this live earlier.
Yeah, but I was taking pictures and shooting videos, so I was in and out.
Got you. But when you see another news service, they show you that this service for, I don't even know if we have a media besides us. What we do, to be honest with you, I don't know if we have another.
No, you got news or puppies and kittens, man.
Okay, because how could Channel 12 or 66 or 5 or 25, y'all didn't do an interview with him about 90% of the pipes what Scripps had to do?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all see what Scripps, the interview Scripps did?
Yeah. And they're from New York or something, or DC or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can people on the outside, but you claim you care for? That's what I'm saying. I look at some of the anchors we got in Flint.
Yeah.
I'll be tripping how even people even turn on the TV and watch.
We had one with some integrity, and she's gone now.
Yeah, they yeah. Well, that's because our mayor went and complained to her higher ups and wouldn't let her,
friends,
right, and wouldn't let her report on the real news, because she went and had the audacity to go on a show with Winters and go to a blighted house and tell the community about what's going on.
Yeah.
So
shattering that gilded cage, that beautiful illusion.
Yeah.
Pretty lie.
Here's my thing. One of those news outlets I will never speak to. Like, I'll never talk to them. They've called me several times. I will never talk to them. I did an interview this year. That's my last one with them. Won't do it. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I don't care if it's raining gold. I ain't talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
They have switched my words around. They made it sound like I was at Coochie Land with the Coochie Landers. And you know what I'm saying? Like I was up there cleaning up the stuff with Eric the next day, and they came out and interviewed us, and they made it sound like I was just.
You were the one.
I was the one
out.
throwing it, like I was the one shooting, and I was the one partying, and I had people twerking, and I was drinking, and they made it sound like Mike Clack was that guy down there. That was one. Then they put the article out about me and a couple other people that were running for state rep about our past. Now I got a past, and I don't run from my past. I'll let you know. Like, this is what I did. This is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But for all the good stuff that I've done, none of that was mentioned. Only the fact that I had an impaired driving and a gun charge. None of the other stuff that happened in my life was placed in that article. But
no, that's a hit ad, man.
And then and of course, you know who had them do that.
Oh, yeah.
But the last time was when I was on the school board. We were talking about, remember we were debating about the clear book bags for a while, mm-hmm. right? And I will say again, I don't care. I'm not here. I'm not for nor against. If we vote for them, then it's cool. If we don't, then oh well. That's been my stance the entire time. What got put out in that article made me so upset, because that's not what I said. No. So if you want to chop and screw and edit what people say in order for it to fit a specific agenda, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
You're not talking to me to get the information that I'm trying to give you. You're talking to me to prove yourself a point, and you're going to put my words in and then turn them around to fit your narrative. And I'm not doing that.
you know how science works, right? If you have a theory or a hypothesis, whatever, you start from a null or backwards. So, say we all know what happens when you mix baking soda and vinegar. You either start that experiment by saying nothing's going to happen,
Or it's gonna be a volcano.
well, or the null that it's going to do the exact opposite of fizz up and flow over, and then you do the experiment to prove that wrong, but yourself right. What they just did is they came into it with an assumption and then pushed toward that assumption instead of away from it.
They came
like
with the
supposed to.
hypothesis after they did the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
The hypothesis is supposed to come, and then the experiment comes to prove your hypothesis to be proper or improper. You
Yeah.
know, and but
So they come up, they talk with you, and they say, "How can I make this work this way?" And that's what they did. Oh yeah, we planned for this, but we're getting this, but we want it to be like this. So we're just going to change a thing here or put a sentence prior to something else he said that is out of context.
Yep.
Yeah. No, like I couldn't talk with a news organization like that myself. They're
it's the
propaganda machine.
I will say I have respect for what's the one that covers us, and they always cover me pretty good. Flint Beat. Yeah, they always.
And the gentleman that writes for The Village.
The Village. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Harold Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harold Ford. He's when it comes down to telling the truth and not putting their own spin on it and their own narrative, I respect that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nick Chan because he's leaving. He just covered his last school board meeting from Flint Beat.
Oh, he was cool as hell.
I did like Nick. But you got to follow your dreams, and he's going back to California, so he's going back to
man,
Cali.
that man's poor wallet.
Yeah, he's from Cali though, so
that man's poor wallet.
Yeah.
Look, you can always tell how bad cost of living is based off of basic allowance of housing that the military gives you. When I got out and went to Midland, Texas, it's $1,600 from that basic allowance of housing. My buddy Borja, who grew up in San Diego and was going back there after he got out, $3,200 basic allowance of housing. Yeah. No way in hell will you catch me anywhere near California. But you know what? I hope Nick makes it. I hope that he doesn't get eaten by that tax monster.
Well, I will say, I think California is one of the only states that's talking about reparations for slavery, isn't it? So.
I mean, they're also talking about.
You can't get caught with a gun out there either.
No. So, and have you seen California compliant ARs?
No.
You got a fin behind, like it's all a bunch of cosmetic things that actually have no bearing on the function of the firearm.
Got like a thumbprint on there. You got to use a thumbprint.
You have to break the firearm in half to load it. Like this does absolutely nothing.
Man, look, here's what I think about people, and I know we got to be pressed for time.
Yeah.
The people who's out here shooting at people and putting switches on Glocks and doing all that and robbing banks and Swiss cheese in people's cars while they're riding down the street, they ain't caring about gun laws, gun reform, bullet costing $2 a bullet. They don't care about that stuff.
No.
Why are you trying to limit me when I'm a law-abiding citizen? Even when I got my gun charge, that wasn't a stolen gun. That was my gun. I just happened to be in Swartz Creek with my gun. So
yeah,
that's I was wrong 3 different ways. Black man, motorcycle, Swartz Creek with a gun, with money in his pocket. So they tried to make an example out of me. They took out all 400 of my dollars in 20s because that's how the ATM gives it.
Yep.
Every bullet out the gun, all 16. They put them all out and started taking pictures. Like, I mean, he must have took 1,000 pictures. You know what I mean? And charged me with, and it didn't get thrown out, but it got pleaded all the way down because I didn't have a record. But people that are trying to abide by the laws, they shouldn't be held against them because somebody else is out here breaking the law.
ATF pistol brace rule is a good example.
Yeah.
All right. ATF 2012 said this is completely legal. We don't care. Do what you want with your own firearm. 2021, 2022. Nope, we don't like this anymore. It is now illegal. There was no law passed, and now it takes an act of Congress to overturn some random rule
from from a agency.
Yeah. No, but we see that here too. I mean, random rules set up by city council that are enforced as law, and it has to be overturned by city council, an act of city council, or the commissioners board, or state legislature. But and it's just something that 3 people came up with and then wrote into.
Uh-oh, I gotta go get my son.
Yep, it's about that time. Thank you for joining us, ladies and
Sorry,
gentlemen.
y'all.